Right. So in the previous classes, we have seen the basics of programming. Like we have seen variables, data types, how we can work with the data types, operators, like different types of operators in TypeScript. So we have covered these topics, and today we'll start with statements, TypeScript statements. So basically, there are two kinds of statements: conditional statements and looping statements. Conditional and then looping statements. Let me start writing the note. So there are two kinds of statements in TypeScript. One type of statements is conditional statement, and the second type of statements is looping statement. In every programming language, these are common looping statements. And conditional statements also called as decision-making statements. And looping statements is also called as iterative statements. Iterative statements. So today we'll focus on conditional or decision-making statements, how we can use and how we can use in programming languages and all. So looping statements we'll cover in the next session. Okay, so conditional or decision-making, conditional statements. So when the conditional statements are required. So whenever you want to execute a specific or set of statements or a group of statements based on certain condition, whenever you want to execute a group of statements based on certain condition, we can use conditional statements. Based on a certain condition, we can decide what type of group we can execute or group of statements we can execute. So we can go for conditional statements. So just like other programming languages, even TypeScript is also exactly having same kind of conditional statements like if condition, if else condition, nested if else, switch case. So whatever the conditional statements are there in Java, same conditional statements also supported by TypeScript. Even syntax also exactly the similar. Okay, if you know already Java, it is very simple, easy to understand. Okay, so let's see a few examples how we can use conditional statements in TypeScript. So I open VS Code editor and let's go and create new folder for today's class. I'm selecting the main folder and go and create a new folder. Say Dev 5. So inside this, I'm creating a new file. I call it as conditional statements.ts. So TypeScript file extension should be .ts. Okay, so first let us start with if condition. Only if condition. So there is no else, just we use only if condition. So how we can use it and what is the syntax of if condition? So if you look at the syntax, we can write like this. If is a keyword and inside the bracket, we need to write a condition. So condition means we need to include this condition. The condition means it will always return either true or false. So when it will return true or false, whenever you are using some relational operator or logical operators, it will return true or false because only the logical and relational operators can return a Boolean value. So if condition, the condition is always return a true or false. So if this condition is true, then inside the block, whatever statements we have written will be executed. So multiple statements we can keep inside the if conditional block. So from here to here, this is one single block. So if the condition is true, then these statements will be executed. You can write multiple single or multiple statements. If the condition is false, then these statements will be ignored. It won't executed by TypeScript. So this is simple if condition. There is no else associated with this if. Right? If condition and the condition is true, then block of code will be executed. So this is simple syntax. Now let's see a few examples to understand this only if a condition. Example 1. Okay, so here I just want to define a variable. Let's say let age, and which is a number data type, and I'll put some data. Let's say 20 is my value of the number. So let age is a variable, number is a type, 20 is the value. So now I want to verify this person based on the age, this person is eligible for vote or not. So what is the condition here is if the age is greater than or equal to 18, here I'll write the description. If the age is greater than or equal to 18, the message should be what? Eligible for vote should be printed. The condition is what? The age value should be greater than or equal to 18, then he is eligible for vote. That is a condition here. This is a condition. So we need to include that condition inside if condition. So now I define a variable. Now I need to check this variable. The value should be greater than or equal to 18. Then we need to print this message. Okay, so now by using if condition, we can verify it. If the age greater than or equal to 18, this is a condition. So this will return either true or false based on the value. So if currently age number is 20, so obviously condition becomes true. 20 greater than or equal to 18 is true. Let's say age becomes 15. Now obviously this will be false. This will return false. 15 greater than or equal to 8. It is false. So here we are verifying the positive condition. We are not adding a negative because we use only if condition in this context. So let's say take age 20. Now condition is true. And here we can keep the statements whatever you want to execute. So I'm just writing print message console.log. And I can say you are eligible for vote like this. So one statement or multiple statements you can include in this particular block. And when the statement will be executed, if the condition is true, then only this statement will be executed. Otherwise, you won't get any result. So let's execute this code and see. New terminal. And here I'm trying to run my TypeScript code. So how to run it? Using TSX. TSX and under day5 folder name slash the file name is what? Conditional statements.ts. So now you got a output. So one single line is got executed. So now I'm just giving a different number. Let's say 15. So this time condition won't match. So obviously this statement should not be executed. So when I run this once again, so you won't get any output here because the condition is false. So how exactly the if condition will work? Based on the condition. So if the condition is true, the statement or statements will be executed or block will be executed. If the condition is false, the statements will be ignored. They won't be executed. So this is simple if condition. If you have only one positive condition, one single, you can just go for if condition. Okay, so sometimes we need to also specify the else block. For example, let's say your age greater than or equal to 18. Okay, this is a positive condition. If the condition is true, we printed this. Suppose if it is not true, then I want to print some other message. If the condition is true, I want to execute set of statements. If the condition is false, then I want to execute another set of statements, another set of block. So then we go for if else condition. Most of the times we use if else. If the condition is true, execute set of statements. If the condition is false, execute another set of statements or another group of statements. So that is if else block. Now let me show you how we can do this. Let's comment this. Now another conditional statement. So this is only if condition. We haven't specified else block. But sometimes we need to also specify the else block. So then how we can use it? If else condition. So when I use if else condition, the syntax will be like this. So I'm writing the syntax as exactly the same. If we put some condition, and if this condition is true, then here the statements will be executed. Under the if block, whatever statements we specified will be executed. And suppose if the condition is false, then another set of statements will be executed that is specified inside the else block. So else is always optional. If you don't put else, that becomes only if a condition. But again, if you want to verify the negative scenario, let's say this is a positive. If the condition is true, the if block will be executed and else block will be ignored. But if the condition is false, then if block will be ignored and else block will be executed. So under the else, we can put another set of statements, and both the statements will not be the same. If the condition is true, certain statements will execute. If the condition is false, then another set of statements will be executed. So this is if else condition. So for else, we don't put any condition, because if the condition is true, already the if block will be executed. If the condition is false, then else block will be executed. So this is if else condition. Okay, now let's see a few examples of if else condition. Example 2. So first, for if condition, we have seen one example. This is example 2. Now I have simple problem here. If number is divided by 2, it should be even, otherwise it should be odd. That I want to find out through program. Simple TypeScript code I want to write. I will give a number, and the TypeScript program should tell that number is divided by 2. If it is divided by 2, then I should print even. And if it is not divided by 2, or it returns a reminder as 1 or other than 1, so it should be odd. So simply I just want to print a number is even or not. Okay, simply I can just print number is even or odd. Now this is my code. This is my problem. Okay, so how we can decide a number is even or odd? If any number divided by 2 returns 0 as a reminder, that is even number. And other than 0, if it is written any reminder, that is a odd number, right? So that we already know. So let us see how we can achieve this using if else condition. Here we have two scenarios. If the number is divided by 2, that should be true. Then we decide a number is even. If it is not, then it is an odd. So this time we can use if else condition statement. Okay, so now let's define a number. Let number, num is a variable, type is a number. Let's say 10 is a value. Now, so how we can put the condition now? So if the condition we need to keep and the condition is true, here the statements will execute. Else another statements will be executed. So these brackets you can also keep inside. Suppose you can also put bracket like this before the function. Okay, before the condition. Okay, so now I'll put some condition here. So what is our condition now? If the number is divided by 2, should be equal to 0. So how we can get the reminder which operator we have to use? Percentile operator, modulo division operator. So I'm doing this. Number divided by 2, that should be equal to 0. This is the condition. So this will return true or false. Boolean value should be written always. So number divided by 0, if it is written 0, then I'm just trying to print console.log even number. Okay, and suppose if it is not 0, number divided by is not 0, any other number, that comes under false. Console.log odd number. Okay, so this is how we can just print. So let's go and execute. Yeah, so now it is just printed even number. Okay, but instead of just printing the just text like this, I just want to print the number also. Like even number, it's just displaying only even number, but I want to just print the number also along with this message. So then how we can modify this output? So I want to just print this number along with this message. So then how we can print this? I've told you one operator. So how we can pass, if you want to print the value of the variable, so how we can print inside this? So one way is you can just print a number concatenation like this. I just print like this, it will print the number like this. Okay, this is one way to do it, but I don't want to use plus operator. So then how we can print this? Yes. So what you can do, you can use backlit operator. So lit operator. So we have in the keyboard, there is operator called like this. Okay. And you need to keep inside the bracket, and before the bracket, you need to use dollar sign, and also should end with the backlit symbol. So this is a procedure. Okay. If you want to pass the value of the variable inside this string, inside the string. So this is a syntax we use. So this number is a variable. So dollar sign will get the value of the variable. Same thing I can repeat here also. So use backlit symbol like this, and also backlit symbol, and here dollar, and specify the variable name. That's it. Okay, so console.log, and this is a till symbol, dollar num odd number. Why it is giving an error? Okay, right. So let's go and execute this and see how it is going to print. Have we done any mistake here? Yeah, this is just a expression. So whatever value we want to print in the console, we can just pass that value inside the string. Okay. So it is giving some error. Yeah, sorry, this is a single quotation I put actually. It should be backlit symbol. And here also it should be backlit. Okay. And here also backlit. So this is not a single quotation, guys. Sometimes you do mistake. This is not a single quotation. It is a backlit. And when I use single quotation or double quotation, you cannot pass this value directly inside the string. In that case, you have to go for plus operator, concatenation. Okay. All right. So let's go and execute now. Yeah, plus. Perfect. Now you can see the number is got printed. It is an even number. So only the one single statement is got executed, which is specified inside the if block. So now let me change this value. Let's make it as a 15. So obviously the condition becomes false. Then else block will be executed. Okay. So now we can see it is printed odd number along with the number. So this is how we can print. Only two ways. Either you need to put this outside of this. If you want to use single quote or double quote, you can use plus operator to print the value of the number. And if you still want to use exact string, or if you don't want to use plus operator, and if you want to pass this value directly inside the string, you can just use dollar curly brace. Okay. So I think I have discussed about this in the previous class. Please check it. Okay. In the variables class, I guess. Right. So this is how we can use if else condition. If is condition is true, then set of statements will be executed. If the condition is false, else block will be executed. At a time, only one single block will be executed based on the condition. Based on the condition. Okay. So these symbols I have already explained in the previous class. Please go through it. Okay. So when I explaining about string, single quote string we can represent with the single quote, double quote, and backlit operator. So what is an advantage of backlit? When to go with this? When I use backlit, you can parameterize the value of the variable inside the string. That is additional advantage you will get when I use backlit operator. Or else you can simply use single quote or double quote along with plus operators. Plus also will do concatenation. Okay, these are the only two ways. Okay, so this is only if statement. If the condition is true, statement will execute. If the condition is false, another else block will be executed. Now, suppose if you have multiple conditions, so then how we can achieve this? Here I have only one single condition. Let's say I have multiple conditions I want to verify. So then we go for nested if else condition. The same syntax, but we can add multiple if conditions. Okay. So let's see how we can use nested if else condition. Nested if else. And the syntax will be the same, but we will have multiple if conditions. So let's say if here we put first condition, let's say condition 1. If this condition is true, then statements will be executed. So whatever statement we included inside the first block will be executed. Suppose if the condition is false, then I want to verify another condition. Else, one more if condition. If here we specify condition 2. Okay, so now if the condition is true, condition 2 is true, then another set of statements we can include. Suppose if the condition 2 is also false, and then you can use a final block else. Here you can say statements. So here you can put n number of conditions. I just put only 1 or 2 conditions. If you want to add another condition, again, you can keep like this. N number of conditions you can keep like this. So first condition is true, statements will be executed, but the rest of condition will be ignored. Suppose if the condition is false, then it will verify the second condition and statements will be executed and below conditions will be ignored. Even condition true is also false, then the third condition will be executed and else block will be ignored. Even the condition 3 also false, then finally else block will be executed. So if no condition is not matched, finally the else block will be executed. So it will verify the condition from top to bottom. First it will check condition 1. If it is false, then only go for condition 2. If the first condition itself is true, then it will not verify the rest of the conditions. If the condition 2 is returned true, then condition 3 will not be verified. At that time, only one condition will become true and statements will be executed. So if you have a multiple conditions, then we go for nested if else statement. Nested if else statement. Okay. So let's see an example for this. Example 3. So whenever you have a multiple statements, we need to go for if else condition. So now I'll just show you a simple example. I want to print the grade based on the marks. So depending on the marks, I just want to print appropriate grade. Okay, and marks can be greater than or equal to 0. What is my condition here? Different conditions. So the first condition is what? Suppose my marks are greater than or equal to 90. Then I want to print it is a grade A. Right. Suppose if the marks greater than or equal to, let's say 75, greater than or equal to 75, and then I will just print grade B. Similarly, I'll just print marks greater than or equal to 60, then I'll print the grade is C. And otherwise, if the marks are not comes under these three conditions are not matched, finally I will just print grade as F D. A, B, C, D. Okay, so these are the conditions I want to verify. Okay, so let's see how we can achieve this. Here we have a multiple condition, so we need to use if else, nested if else, because we have a multiple conditions. Okay, now I'm trying to write a simple code. So take the marks as an input. Let's say let marks is a number type. Let's say 80. Initial value, I'm just keeping 80. Now I want to write multiple conditions. So first condition is what? If marks greater than or equal to 90. So this is my first condition. And this is a minimum condition. So if you want to put the range, you can also keep the range also by adding logical operator. So how we can add multiple conditions? By using logical operators. So marks greater than or equal to 90 and marks less than or equal to 100. This is a maximum range and this is a minimum range. So marks greater than or equal to 90 and marks less than or equal to 100. So if this condition is matched, then I can print grade A. Console.log grade A. This is the first condition. So this is the relational operator we use, and here also another relational operator. So using AND operator. So first expression according to the value, let's say I put 95. So according to the value, the first condition is matched. Marks greater than or equal to 19 is true. Even second condition is also matched. So this will also return true. So when I use AND operator between two trues, true means this is a true expression, this is another true. So obviously the whole expression will return true, then the statement will be executed. Okay, this is first condition. Suppose if this condition is not returns true, then what is the next condition? Greater than or equal to 75. Else if another condition, marks greater than or equal to 75 and the marks should be less than 90, because greater than or equal to 90 also we verified. So it should be less than 90 now. Marks less than 90. Again, marks becomes equal to 90. Again, it will go for first condition. First condition will become true. So this is marks less than 90. Less than 90, or you can use marks less than or equal to 89 also correct. Because we use equal to also, less than or equal to 89 or less than 90 is also correct. Okay, now if the condition is true, I say console.log, this is grade B, like this. So two conditions we specify. The first condition is true, the first statement will execute. If the second condition is true, suppose first one is false, then it will come to the second condition. If it is true, then this message will be printed. Even this is also false, then we verify another condition. Else, one more if. And now what is the condition? Marks greater than or equal to 60 and marks less than 75 we already covered. So you can put 75 also here. Why? Because less than we put. So when I say marks equal to 75, then the second condition will match. If the marks less than 75, this third condition will match. Okay, now if this condition is true, let's say console.log, say grade C. Okay, so now none of the conditions are not matched. In the first condition, second, third, everything is false. When they become false, suppose when I say 50, now all the conditions are false. So first condition will become false, returns true, return false. Second will return false. Even third also will return false. So if all the conditions are false, finally else block will execute. Or I'll say console.log grade D, like this. Okay, so else block will be executed at the last. After verifying all the conditions, if nothing is matched, then finally else block will be executed. It will verify top to bottom. First condition, if it is false, then go to second. Again, if it is false, then go to third. Again, it is false, then else block will execute. So this is how we can specify nested if else. If you have a multiple conditions, you can use like this. Okay. Now let us verify all the conditions, and at a time only one block will be executed. Any one block will be executed based on the value which we provided. Let's say I'm providing 90, just 90. So now the first, which condition will be executed? This is our condition 1. This is our condition 1. And this is a condition 2. And this is our condition 3. So now which condition will be executed? Obviously, the first condition becomes true. So we will get output as a grade A. Execute. Yeah, we got a grade A. Now let's make it as a 85. Now obviously the second condition should match. First condition false, second condition should match 85. It prints grade B. Perfect. Now let us make 60. 60 means what? Which condition will match? The third condition will match. So obviously we will get grade C. Perfect. Now I'll say 50. So all three conditions return false. Obviously the else block will be executed. So that should print grade D. Okay. So this is how we can use nested if else. If you have a multiple conditions to verify, you can go with nested if else condition. Okay. Now let me show you another example for nested if else. So let us comment this code. Nested if else. Very important in automation. Also, we use this loop multiple places. So I can say example 4. Okay. So in this example, what I want to do is I want to pass an input like a browser name. Input is what? A browser name. It can be Chrome, Safari, Opera, whatever, Firefox. I'll just provide the browser name and it should just print the message like which browser name we have passed. So browser selection. In automation, important scenario, this one, browser selection. So based on the name of the browser, we need to print which browser we have taken. So for example, let's say, I'm taking a variable called browser and the type of the variable is a string. Let's say Chrome. I'm giving some name of the browser is Chrome. You can pass Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever you want. Now, I just want to print the browser based on certain condition. I want to verify the name of the browser. If so, here we want to compare browser equal to Chrome. Then I just want to print console.log browser is Chrome, like this. I'll pass a different browser names accordingly. I want to print different. Okay, so when you're comparing these two, we are basically comparing what? Strings, right? Browser is a string variable which contains a value equal to, this is the value we are comparing. So at the time of comparing, I have used equivalent operator. Double equal to is represent what? Equivalent operator, right? It will basically compare the two values. Will it compare the values or type? Suppose I want to compare the values along with the type. Then how we can specify the condition? Can we specify the triple equal to here? Instead of double equal to is what? Comparison operator. It will compare the two values. Obviously, this is also correct. But if I put triple equal to, then what will happen? So this is also comparison operator, just like a double equal to. Then what is the difference? It is a strict equality. Double equal to is just a equivalent. It will verify the equality of the values, but it will verify strict equality. It means what? Value of the variable and also type of the variable. So the value of the variable of the browser is what? Chrome, and the type is what? String. Same thing. Value of this string is what? Chrome, and the type of the string is what? String. Both will be matched. So I'm just using strict equality operator. So we can also use strict equality operator inside the conditions. I'm just giving one example here. So browser equal to Chrome, then I print browser is Chrome. Else, if another condition, if the browser equal to Firefox, and then I'll just print console.log browser is Firefox. like this. One more condition, else if browser equal to Safari. And then we can print console.log browser is Safari. So like this, you can put multiple condition. Suppose if the value is not matching with any of these, finally, we will print console.log some other browser. Okay. So like this, we can put multiple statements. And in this context, we use strict equality. So it will compare the value along with the data type. Okay. So let's go and execute and check the multiple conditions. So at a time, only one condition will be verified or matched. So provided Chrome, so it is just printed. Browser is Chrome. Let's say Firefox. Yeah, perfect. So we will also have a switch case statement. We will discuss that also. Just hold on. And here I say Safari. Perfect. So if suppose I provided something else, some XYZ, other browser. Okay. So for example, let's say I put this string in the single quotation. So now what is an output? Can we put single quote here? And when I put single quote and then I'm comparing with the strict equality, will it match or not? Yes, obviously match, because single quote, double quote is almost equal in TypeScript. So we can represent string using single quote or double quote in TypeScript. Okay. So this will also will match. Browser is Chrome, perfectly fine. Okay, so this is how we can use nested if-else condition. So if you have a many conditions to verify, you go for nested if-else condition. Okay. Now, so there is another conditional statement. So far, we have seen if condition, only if condition, if-else condition, nested if-else condition. So we also have the fourth conditional statement, which is switch case statement. In every programming language, these are exactly same. Even syntax is also exactly same in Java. So the next one, switch case statement. Switch case statement. Even switch case statement also we can verify multiple conditions. Okay, so now what is the syntax of this? Syntax of switch case statement. Simply write a switch is a keyword. In the bracket, we write an expression. So expression is nothing but what? In the if and if else conditions, I specified as a condition there, condition. But here I'm calling it is a expression. What is the difference? Difference between condition and expression. In if else condition, I've just put only condition, but here I'm saying expression. Condition in the sense that will always return either true or false. Condition will always return either true or false. But expression can return anything. An expression can return a number also. Expression can return a string also. Expression can return a boolean also. Okay, expression can be written anything. Whereas the condition should always return true or false. Okay, that is a major difference. So in the switch case statement, we put the expression, not the condition. Inside the switch case statement, here we will use something called a case keyword. Case, let's say value 1. I'll tell you what exactly it is. Value 1. Statements. Along with this, we use another keyword called a break. And similarly, we can put multiple cases like this. Case 1, value 1, value 2, value 3. And finally, the default will be executed. Under default also, we can put statements. So this is a syntax of using switch case statement. Okay, so let's understand. This is an expression as told you. So expression in the sense, it can return anything. Or it can be a simple variable also sometime. So how we can verify the conditions? Multiple conditions. If the expression value is equal to this one, then these statements will be executed. After that, the break command will exit from this entire switch block. Suppose if the expression returns a value which is matching with the case 2 or value 2, then these set of statements will be executed. The break command will exit from the entire switch block. Suppose if the expression is matching with value 2, value 3, then this set of statements will execute. Break command will exit from the entire block. Suppose if the expression is not matching with any of these values, then default block will execute. This is the default will be executed. Okay, this is the syntax of switch case statement. Okay, so let's see multiple examples. So I'll put these comments so that we don't want to execute this part. Okay, and you can, at the time of practice, you can just remove the comments and you can execute and practice. Okay, now let's see the examples, how we can use switch case statement. Example 5. So in this example, I want to show you the multiple. Here also we use multiple conditions just like a nested if else. But what is a major difference between if else and this switch case statement is, if you have a multiple conditions, so more, suppose let's say you have 5, 10, 15 conditions, better to go for switch case statement instead of using nested if else. Okay, because switch case statement will reduce a lot of code. So in a nested if else condition, if you write 10 lines of code, by using switch case statement, you can simply write 5 to 6 lines of code. It will reduce a lot of code for us. So that is the reason we can go with switch case statement. Okay. So let us see one more example for switch case statement. So how we can do that. So in this example, I'll try to demonstrate how we can print the day based on the value which we provided. Let's say we have a 7 week names, 1 to 7. I just provided some number between 1 to 7. And accordingly, I just want to print the name of the week. So simply what you can do, we can say let day, I'm taking a variable called day, and the type is a number equal to 3. So the day number is 3. 1 to 7, you can take any number. Now I want to verify the multiple conditions. Like I want to verify whether day is equal to 1 or not, 2 or not, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So up to 7, I want to verify. So I have to put multiple conditions. So what we can put, I can say switch. Inside this, I can say day. And here, what is this day here? It is a simple variable or expression, anything. It should return some value. But we are not verifying the condition in the bracket here. That's a major difference. So now we can write a multiple cases. So how we can write a multiple cases like this? You can say, for example, let's say case 1. So what is this 1, 2, 3, 4? The 1, 2, 3, 4 are exactly the values of day. Suppose the day value is equal to 1, matching with 1, case 1. Then I just want to print Monday and break. Break will come out from the switch block. Suppose the day value is not matching with 1, then go to another case. So day value becomes 2. Then Tuesday will be executed and break command will exit from the entire switch block. Similarly, it will verify each and every case one after another if previous one is not matching. Suppose 1 to 7 are not matching. Then finally, default block will execute. So we need to write another block called default. So inside the default block, I can simply say console.log. You can say invalid week like this. So this is also possible. Here also possible to specify multiple conditions by using case keyword. And expression should always return some value. It can be true or false also. Sometimes if it is written true or false, then you can put only two cases. One case is true, another case is false. That you can use an alternative of if else condition. But here we have written multiple values. If the day value can be anything between 1 to 7. So one of the case will be matched and will be executed the statements. But finally, if 1 to 7 is not matched, finally the default block will be executed. Okay. So let us go and execute CN conditional statement. So Wednesday, I've given 3, right? Yeah, 3 in the sense it is matching with 3. Wednesday is got printed. So let us give some other number. Let's say 7. Sunday is got printed. Perfect. Sunday is got printed. Suppose I given something else. Let's say 10. We don't have a 10 here. 1 to 7 conditions. So obviously this should print invalid week. Okay. So this is how we can use switch case statement. And one important thing. So why we need a break for every case? Why we need to use break for every case? If I don't use break command, then what will happen? So by default, switch case statement, whenever certain case is matched, if I don't use break command, it will go and verify the second also. So by default, it will verify second also. So if the first case is matched, we no need to go with other conditions, right? We don't need that. So immediately we use break command. If I don't use break command, it will go with the second condition. Here also, if I don't use break command, then it go with the third condition like this. For example, let's say I'm giving 1 here and I remove break here. Let's say comment the break. So then what will happen? So first case will match. Monday will print, but I have not used the break here. So in that case, it will also execute the second and printed Tuesday also. And here it is got break. After printing Tuesday, it is got break. But again, here also I remove the break. So then what will happen? It will print Monday as Tuesday, also Wednesday also. So this is how it will work actually. So that is the reason break is compulsory. Break is mandatory statement we need to put after executing all the statements specific to particular case. Okay. So the what break command will do, break is basically what is a jumping statement. We have two statements actually, break and continue. These two comes under jumping statements. In the next class, I will explain more about break and continue statements separately. But here the break command will exit or come out from this entire switch case block wherever you have used. Why? Because if first case is got matched, rest of the cases we no need to verify. So the break command will immediately exit from the switch case block. Okay, that's how it will work. So when I execute it, so let's change the value. Let's make it as 7. Just print Sunday. Okay, so based on the value, it will verify the number of cases. So this is how we can use switch case statement. Okay. One more example. So here I have shown you how we can pass simple a variable, but how we can specify the expression. Expression, how we can put the expression. Expression in the sense what it can return any value. It can return any value, including true or false also. So let me take another example. Example 6. Switch case statement also can include the expression. So this time I'm taking two different variables. Let's say let x is a number, which is 10, comma. Y is also number. The value is, let's say, 5. So can we declare variables like this in single line, multiple variables? It is possible. Okay, using one single let keyword, we can declare multiple variables in single line. So I've taken two variables, x and y. Now I'm writing a switch statement. Just to understand this. Switch. Now this time I'm writing an expression. Let's say x minus y. So what this will return? X minus 5 will return
5. 10 minus 5, 5 will be returned. So now I'm writing multiple cases. Let's say case 0. If x minus 5 returns 0, and then I will simply write console.log result is 0. And immediately we need to write a break. And this break command can put in the single line also like this, because if you put semicolon, you can write it in the single line, or else you can put in the next line like this. So this is my first condition. Similarly, suppose x minus y value is, let's say, case 5. Then console.log. Here I can just print result is 5. Result is 5. So if the case value is 5, then I say result is 5. And also we need to use a break. After that, another case. Case 10. Say console.log. Result is 10. And here I'll say a break. So default blocks I'm not keeping here, because default block is optional. Default block, even if you don't specify default block, nothing will happen. It is an optional. Okay, and if you don't put default block, then if no condition is not matched, so then what would be the output here? Let's say x minus 5, 10 minus 5. So 5 is exactly matching with case 5, the second case. So this will return 5 as an output. Okay, suppose let's say I want to get a 10. So 10 in the sense what? Let me take this 20 and this may take 10. 20 minus 10, obviously 10. So the last case will match. So when I execute this, the result is 10. Okay, fine. Let us say here 20 minus 5, 25. Now which case will be executed? 20 minus 5, 25. Which case will be executed? We have specified any case. So when I run this, you won't get any output. Okay, so in this case, you can put a default. Suppose if all three values are not matching, so then you can simply say console.log. So I can say result is something else. So if none of the cases are not matched, then result will be something else. So like this, you can use, even if you don't put default block, still that is fine. Okay. So in the switch case statement, you can specify the variable or you can write a expression. Here, this is an expression. Here, this is a expression. Okay. So this is how we can work with the conditional statement. So 4 conditional statement: if condition, if else condition, nested if else, and switch case block. In the next class, I'll discuss about looping statements. We have a different loops like while loop, do while, for, break, continue. Break, continue comes under jumping statements. We can use them along with conditional statements and also looping statements whenever it is required. Okay. So do one round of practice. It's a very easy concept, very simple. If you already know other programming languages, it is very easy. You can easily understand. And based on today's class or today's session, I'll give you some assignment. You guys can try this. So this is a notes. Just go through this. If condition, if else statement, nested if else statement, and the switch case statement. And after that, I've given a lab assignment. For if condition, I have given 2 examples, and there's if else condition 4 and nested if else switch case. Just try to write the code for these examples. And you can try this and you will be familiar with the conditional statements. I will also upload the solutions for each and every program and you can refer that program. But before that, you can try your own. And if you stuck somewhere, if you're not able to, then you can just refer the examples. Okay. So that's all for today's session. I will stop here, a small concept. And tomorrow's session, we will continue looping statements. Okay. That will take more time, because we want to see multiple looping statements, the different examples. So we'll continue in tomorrow's session and try to finish these assignments. Okay. So once you finish this assignment, you need to upload them in the Google Drive itself. So I'll show you how we can upload them in the Google Drive later. But first of all, you complete this and keep it with you. Okay, don't send these to email or somewhere. Just keep it with you if everything is working fine. And in the next class, I'll show you how we can upload and where you can upload this. Okay. So that's it for today. And just stop.